What happened to the Delco Plaza in Hicksville, Long Island? What is happening to the Delco Plaza in Hicksville, Long Island? I've lived in Hicksville my entire life, and Delco Plaza is one of the main staples that you go for entertainment, food, everything in between. Along with the Broadway Mall, the Delco Plaza stood tall as one of the main staples for Hicksville residents and people living on Long Island. Now, some of you may not know, but the Delco Plaza has only existed since the 80s. And apparently before that, this was a mansion of some sort. Apparently this plot of land was Julius Augustine's mansion. And then in the 80s, it was later converted to the Delco Plaza. We don't know exactly what's going on, but since the 80s, the Delco Plaza stood tall as one of the main hubs for food, entertainment, and everything in between in Hicksville. But now things are changing. Grossman World, as you guys know, I report things of what's going around me in the local towns, on Long Island in general. And I gotta say, Delco Plaza is changing. There are a lot of tenants here right now that are abandoned, that are vacant. A lot of memorable storefronts that are changing, that used to be really like staples coming here, are now completely gone. And we can still see some remnants of it today. We're gonna walk around the Delco Plaza today, see what's changed and what once was, and see, maybe make some predictions on what's to come. This is Grossman World, Delco Plaza. Let's check it out. Our first stop today, Taco Bell. What's happening to the Taco Bell in Hicksville, Long Island? Now, if you're Gen Z, you actually may not know, but this used to be Arthur and Treacher's, a fish and chips chain that was back in the day. This was what it used to be. A lot of you probably didn't know that. This has been Taco Bell for the longest time now, and this is probably one of the mainstays, one of the most popular storefronts in this Delco Plaza. As we walk to the Delco Plaza, you're gonna see there's a lot of different stores that used to really be staples but aren't anymore. This Taco Bell has stood strong. Who goes to this Taco Bell in Hicksville, Long Island? I'm not gonna go over my value menu order. I don't wanna talk about all that right now, but I will say this Taco Bell's went through some changes. Taco Bell's went through a rebrand. You can look at the building, the purple, the white, that's all new. Taco Bell's doing like a Y2K menu right now, and you can see the OG colors of the Taco Bell. Those reds, those yellows, that original Bell logo. What do we prefer more, the old Taco Bell logo or the new Taco Bell? I gotta say, I kinda like the way this looks nowadays. I think the purple and white is sleek. It's kinda like a, I don't know, you feel like it's less like cheap, a little less like, you know, fast food. It feels a little bit, all right, we're going to Taco Bell. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think. This is the first stop on the Delco Plaza. Taco Bell, Arthur Treacher's. Comment below if you remember this, guys, because I do not. I was not that old, but apparently this used to be fish and chips. That's pretty cool. Let's keep it moving. There's a lot of different storefronts you're gonna see here. And when we want to get to this corner, I want you to zoom in, because I want you to zoom in on that plaza over there once we get to this corner. A lot of changes happening in Hicksville, guys. If you're not from Hicksville, you may not fully understand the demographic or like kind of what's going on here. But I gotta say, Hicksville is probably one of the most dynamic and polarizing, changing towns, not only on Long Island, but this is like weird. This is like crazy to live around. Truly something, a sight to see. Stop number 2 in the Delco Plaza, Friendly's. What happened to the Friendly's in Hicksville, Long Island? Now, while this corner plot has went through a lot of different changes, I remember this as the Friendly's. Now, if you look behind me, check out what it's going to. You can see now it's turning into Matari Coffee Co. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Hicksville is changing, and this corner plot is no exception. This plot has had a lot of trouble surviving. I mean, I've seen this turn from 2 to 3 different businesses in the last 5 to 6 years. I don't know what it is about the restaurants or what's going on, but they're not really able to survive. The Friendly's behind me used to be here for, I would say, up to 10 years. Who remembers the Friendly's in Hicksville, Long Island? I would say this is one of the main staples. Friendly's has really taken a decline. If you guys want to see a downfall, rise and fall of Friendly's, please let me know, because I think that would be a cool video. But I used to come to this Friendly's a lot, get myself a sundae, get myself some food. I think I even DoorDash from here once. That's how long it's been here. But it's turned to about 3 different businesses since then, and now you can see behind me, it's Matari Coffee Co. Things are changing, guys, and I'm really excited to see what's actually going to happen with this. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Really haven't had many coffee companies, anything like that in this Delco Plaza. But one of the many examples you're going to see on this tour of how Hicksville is changing. This used to be Friendly's. Let's keep it going. Take a look behind me. Look at that new development of that plaza. This is a huge example of what's changing in Hicksville, on how the Indian demographic is totally changing the landscape of Hicksville. Delco Plaza has existed since the 80s, but now we're seeing some polarizing changes. I'm gonna piece together some clips when we came here last time so you can see what this plaza behind me looks like. This is really a sight to see. I mean, this is crazy. They're starting to put people in too. Philly, Pizza Depot, and Haagen-Dazs. This hasn't opened yet. Nothing in here is opened yet. But this is gonna be like a new shopping center. And I just want you to, when you see behind me and now look over here, this is what once was. So that was like the prime real estate maybe in Hicksville like 20, 30 years ago. And then look at what they're building now. What do we think about the changes in Hicksville? Hicksville is changing, and in my opinion, Hicksville is one of the most rapidly changing towns on Long Island, maybe the most rapidly changing town on Long Island. What do you guys think of the architectural changes in Hicksville, Long Island? It's really a sight to see. If you're not from Hicksville, guys, you got to come down here. You got to see what's going on because it's really a sight to see. In our second episode of Grossman World ever, we checked out that train station, how they're building that whole new complex. Guys, this is only the tip of the iceberg of what's happening in Hicksville, Long Island. I haven't even gotten out of Hicksville, and there's already so much stuff changing. I've been loving documenting this stuff for you guys, but now we're gonna walk down the Delco Plaza. I'm gonna show you some memories of fan favorite stores here in the Delco Plaza. Let's go, let's take a look. So as I said before, this Matari Coffee Co. Premium Yemeni coffee. Guys, I'm really excited to see what's going on here. And I like the decal too. I mean, look at the decal they put on all this. Not something that they've really done before in terms of like a new business opening here. I'll point out new businesses that have also opened here, but definitely to like a lesser scale than this. This definitely looks like something special. But this is also like a much bigger plot. I mean, this is like 2 to 3 storefronts in the Delco Plaza. I mean, it's no question why businesses really aren't able to survive. It's just such a huge building. Speaking of huge buildings, who remembers the Shake-a-Paw in Hicksville, Long Island? Check this out, guys. This has been closed for a few years now, but they still have remnants of what was Shake-a-Paw. I think I got a dog here. I got a pug here back in the day. But of course, if you're from Hicksville, maybe a little bit on the younger side, you remember coming into the Shake-a-Paw and just coming in here. You're not buying anything. You just wanted to pet the dogs, pet the cats, pet the pets. You know what I mean? This was such a great spot to come for a date or just hang out and just kick it and just do something. Shake-a-Paw was awesome. I don't know if you guys had a Shake-a-Paw by you, where you guys live, but Shake-a-Paw in Hicksville was definitely a mainstay. This place was here for probably 15, 20 years. As I said, I got my pug here. Great times, man. But I think the downfall of Shake-a-Paw was that it was so damn expensive. I remember going inside and you see all the dogs and they would have like a price list. Kind of weird and odd when you think about it. Putting like a price list for like animals, but they would have it listed. Labradoodle, $1,100. Pug, $800. What's up with that? Did you guys get a pet from Shake-a-Paw? This is Hicksville, Long Island. I sure did, but did you guys? We're gonna walk a little bit further down. Maybe we can get another peek inside, but this was really special. I mean, take a look over here. You can see they still have some decals. You know, where are you guys going to get a pet nowadays? Are you going to an animal shelter? Are you going to, where's the inn? Because I need to know. Shake-a-Paw, I guess, was the spot. Kind of like a, like the company way to get a pet, I guess. But a little unethical. I don't know. How do we feel about Shake-a-Paw? Is that the reason it declined? Let's take a peek in there. Right there you can see the main kiosk of where they had everything. This spot right here used to have everything, shelves and all types of different goods. And then when you guys went in the back, that's where you would, when you guys would go in the back, that's where you would see all the pets lined up in the cages. But Shake-a-Paw was always weird. They had the pets in like metal cages, and like they had like the toy pets and like really like metal grates. It was like kind of sad when you thought about it. I would go in there and I'd be like, is this a proper way to keep a pet? And it's almost like captivity. So I don't know if anyone's worked at Shake-a-Paw, but if you've ever worked at Shake-a-Paw, comment on how you feel the practices were. I'm really curious to know, what do we feel about Shake-a-Paw? I know I got my pet here. You know, you feel good about buying a dog here because, you know, you're taking them out of this situation. But I don't know. It's kind of weird when you think about it, but maybe that's a sign of the old times. Maybe we're not doing that stuff anymore. But as you guys saw from the decals, the remains of Shake-a-Paw still stands. Curious to see what's going to happen. Let's keep going. You can pan up here. You can still see there's a couple more signs here. I kind of like that they haven't removed this stuff yet. You know, because you guys got to understand, Hicksville's really like, you guys remember Shake-a-Paw. You guys can see right here. For lease, and there's the iconic logo. You know, it says the American Kennel Club. Again, I don't know how we feel about that, guys. Was Shake-a-Paw unethical or were they ethical? Please let me know. They have some business cards here. I really don't know what they're going to turn this into. Kind of weird, but again, we're just going to move it on. Let me know what you guys think. This is a unique building right here. This is the T-swirl crepe. Are you guys a fan of crepes? Take a look at these right here. Take a look at these little demonstrations. If you're looking for some dessert, this is definitely the place to go. But who remembers this as GameStop? I would come here all the time with my friends. And of course, you guys remember GameStop, all the rows of video games, Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, Wii U. They had everything here. And again, these companies, man, the rise and fall of these companies, GameStop, it's just not a sustainable business model. Things like Xbox, you have the Game Pass, so you can pay $10, $15 a month and you can get every single game fathomable. Who's going and buying physical games anymore? What's happened recently is a physical game is more expensive than the digital game. So companies like GameStop, they just can't survive with this business model. I don't get it. But GameStop was one of the mainstays here in Delco Plaza. Who remembers the GameStop in Hicksville, Long Island? I really wish this place was still around. I'd love coming in here and just playing some of the demos. They would have some games. I remember they had Super Mario Maker, if anyone remembers that game. They had that on a demo for the Wii U, and I was like ecstatic. I would come here and I played it, and I was like, oh my God, I need this game right now. GameStop kind of started changing their model a little bit. They started offering more merchandise and amiibos and other products, kind of things a little bit different, maybe adjacent to video games, but not video games. I really feel like that was the downfall of GameStop. But you guys let me know what you think. GameStop also with their trade-ins, really just killing you with the trade-in prices. You would bring in a brand new console and 50 games and they would offer you $1.25 for it. It's kind of messed up when you think about it. I don't know why they did things like that, but you know, video games, I guess it's not really a hot commodity. These things decrease in value. Who remembers like the bargain bins at GameStop? You would reach in and there'd be like NBA 2K games. You can get them for like 99 cents. It's crazy. Nowadays, Long Island has the video game trading post. I'd like to give a big shout out to the video game trading post because they were really killing it as far as the retro games go and new games as well. GameStop maybe is a little bit too corporate, but who remembers the GameStop at Hicksville, Long Island, Delco Plaza? Times are changing, man. Times are changing. Here are a couple of the new businesses that have kind of been floating around the Delco Plaza. You can look behind me, you can see Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is probably one of the most poppin' places in the Delco Plaza. Every single day when you come here, Tropical Smoothie Cafe is freaking jumping. And they do a lot too. I gotta give a shout out to Tropical Smoothie because in Hicksville, they'll have DJs out here sometimes. They'll be playing live music. They really put a lot of effort into their business and I appreciate that. They put a hell of a product. Shout out to Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I know they were a franchise, but whatever. Peri, guys. And you can see a new business over here, Leslie's Pools. That's new as well. There's a lot of different tenants that have been changing around this place I really hope these stay. But with the Leslie pools coming in, I mean, that, I don't know, that's interesting. That's like a sign of like they don't know exactly what to put in here, because I feel like for a while it used to be exclusively like food, clothes, you know, what you'd expect from a plaza, Delco Plaza. But now they're kind of bringing in these like third-party type vendors. And I'm not saying Hicksville people don't need pools. Of course they do. But there are a lot of tenants here that are unoccupied as we are going to walk down this plaza, as you'll see. So I'm curious what that means. It probably means nothing. But if you guys have any speculations, let me know. If you pan over here, let's go over here. Are you from Hicksville? Do you go to Shahs in Delco Plaza? Shahs, again, probably one of the most popular spots at Delco Plaza. I love getting their chicken over rice. Get some white sauce, some green sauce. Guys, if you're from Hicksville, you know what I'm talking about. But Shahs is also all over Long Island. There's a bunch of locations for Shahs, and they keep on growing. So again, I want to shout out Shahs. What is your guys' order? I need to know. But thank God for Shahs. Again, you can tell the times of how Delco Plaza is changing, maybe the types of food they're offering in here. You can see a recurring theme. But Delco Plaza is changing. If you guys remember what these buildings were prior to these, I would love to know. I'm pretty sure this used to be pizza, if I'm not mistaken. I think this was like a pizza parlor. But as you can see behind me, Papa John's just came in. This is like a recent thing. Papa John's came in here like last year, maybe even less than that. Maybe a substitute for that pizza parlor. But I remember the pizza was pretty cool. You'd walk in. I'm pretty sure it's Peri guys now. But a lot of hot potato, a lot of different businesses coming in. But all good stuff in the Delco Plaza, I'd say, as far as this realm goes. But as we walk down further, you're going to see a couple of abandoned buildings, and we'll comment about that. So let's keep on walking. Take a look at some of these tenants, guys. Beautiful dresses. And this is kind of cool. This is an abandoned tenant you're about to see, and there's advertisements for local events going on here in Hicksville. I'm guilty of this too. I would put my ads on doors like these. I'd put like a, you know, my new song out. I put like a little poster there, but lots of local events going on. Take a look in this building over here. This is really like destroyed and abandoned. That looks great. I mean, the camera quality is great, but take a look over here too. You can see like some of the destroyed like ceiling and building. There's a few abandoned buildings, and the next one we're about to see is the biggest one of them all. What happened to the King Kullen in Hicksville, Long Island? What happened to the King Kullen in Hicksville, Long Island? Now is a Big Lots for probably many years. This building used to be the main supermarket in Delco Plaza. This building was probably King Kullen for the past 20, 30 years, I want to say. Comment below if you remember King Kullen and how long it was here for, because I got no idea. It's now been a Big Lots. I remember when they first made this into a Big Lots, this was like a big deal. They were like, guys, the Big Lots is coming to the Delco Plaza. You guys all got to come here. And I remember everyone was so stoked, so excited to come to the Delco Plaza and come to this Big Lots. But I'm going to give you guys an unpopular opinion. I don't know how I feel about Big Lots. I got to be honest. It was cool, don't get me wrong. There was furniture, there was food, there was all types of things you can get at Big Lots. But I always felt like it was unnecessarily large. Did anyone else feel the same way? When this was a King Kullen, it's great. It was a supermarket. I remember coming here with my mom, getting groceries, just walking past it. I feel like that was such a appropriate thing to have in a supermarket like this. But as you walk down, we're going to see how they kind of have remedied that and fixed that. But this Big Lots was definitely a huge space for people of Hicksville, people of Long Island. Did you ever buy furniture here? Remember, they'd have displays of like, you know, chairs, and they would have, you know, for your backyard, they'd have like canopies and different types of tents and all types of stuff. But Big Lots really had a great run. But now for the past year or so, this Big Lots has been abandoned. I came here probably less than a year ago. I remember I was getting holiday gifts for my family. They were running all types of sales. Everything was like 50%, 75% off. And then as we see it right now, this Big Lots is abandoned. If you guys live in Hicksville, Long Island by the Delco Plaza, what do you think this will be turned into? I really have no idea. As we were making this video, we saw 2 cops kind of like circling this area, kind of like surveilling the whole place. I don't know if people are trying to break in or anything, but there's really nothing going on here. We're gonna walk a little bit closer and see if we can get a look inside, because this place is abandoned. Let's take a look in. You guys remember you could go in this way over here. I remember they had shopping carts. They would have them all lined up out here. And then as you see right here, welcome to your community Big Lots. Not anymore. But you can see these are where the doors were. It's for lease now, but as you look inside, you're gonna see how open this building is. I mean, wow. That looks really different now too. They're really making changes here, guys. I'll pull up a B-roll clip when we came here last and kind of did an overview of this Delco Plaza preparing for this video. You'll see they actually had like cash registers and like different types of like storage units. Look at it now. Completely vacant, and they're putting some type of material on the floor too. I don't know if they're redoing the floor. You can see kind of like some footprints on the floor there. Very interesting. But let's keep walking down and you're going to see what's going on. I don't know if you guys would get food at this Big Lots. This is more so of like a goods type of store. I feel like lots of items. But again, I don't know how I feel about Big Lots exactly. Do you guys have a Big Lots by you? If anyone works in the Hicksville Council, and the Hicksville, you know, is in the know, let me know what's going on with that place, because I would love to take a look inside, kind of document as it changes. But let's stop right over here. Behind me is the Maharaja Market, which has kind of taken the place of the King Kullen when King Kullen closed down. This place has been here for about 8 to 10 years now, and this is one of the main stores you can go for groceries, food, anything you need. Now, as you can tell by the name, obviously this is not an American company compared to King Kullen, but this is where everyone goes. If you're not from Hicksville, this seems maybe a little bit crazy because there's not stores like this by you guys. But I love documenting this because I love being a part of such a diverse community of people. It's really cool to be around. This is the main supermarket here. And comment below if you remember what this was prior, because I can't remember. We weren't able to find information on what this used to be, but if you guys have pictures from back in the day, please let me know what this was prior to the Maharaja Market. But this place is definitely a mainstay. Take a look over here, and you can see the Armed Forces Career Center. I remember walking by here a couple of times and saw some young men kind of lined up, ready to sign up, actually. This is definitely a cool place to have and kind of interesting, kind of a juxtaposition, you know, next to the Maharaja Market. I don't know exactly, but, you know, it's interesting to see. I think it shows the diversity of Hicksville, diversity of Long Island. Now, I'm not looking to sign up for the Army anytime soon. I've definitely thought about it, because I'm just, I don't know, like to get things done. Let's keep walking, because it's going to start to really get interesting here, guys. Some stores you definitely remember. Let's take a little peek in this Armed Forces Career Center. You can see right here, we don't accept applications, only commitments. And you can sign up for all different types of things. They have the Marines over here, physical fitness, travel and adventure, even a musician enlistment option, self-reliance, self-direction, self-discipline. I thought about doing this just to really like up my discipline, up my thing, but I was advised not to because my friends and family are like, you know, it really like changes you. I don't know if anyone's watching who's kind of been in the Army or has people who've been in the Army. Kind of does something to you where like your whole mind frame kind of changes and you're not the same person anymore. and I'm a very creative individual, and that type of discipline and that type of a regimen is a little bit scary to think about. So I decided not to, but I definitely do think about it. But fun fact, I'm an only child and I have flat feet, so I think those are 2 reasons you're not allowed to be drafted. If there was ever a draft, they don't draft only children, and they don't draft people with flat feet. That's what my mom told me, so that makes me feel easy at heart. If there was ever a World War III, I'm okay. What happened to the Blockbuster in the Delco Plaza of Hicksville, Long Island? This is probably one of the most a fan favorite stay of the Delco Plaza. This Blockbuster was the hallmark if you wanted to get any type of video, movie, video game, and everything in between. You can look behind me now and you can see it's a 99-cent store. But if you came from Hicksville, you remember this used to be Blockbuster. My God, the memories I had in this place. From renting movies to checking out the different aisles, this place had it all and was such a joy to come in every time I came here. I have a little story while we're reminiscing about this place. I remember coming in here, God, I must have been so young. I'm going to say 6, 7 years old. I would come in here with my mom all the time. I got a lot of my culture of movies and pop culture from my mother. She's very into that. So we would go into Blockbuster and we would just scourge the aisles. I would check out the video games. I remember seeing SpongeBob, Battle for the Bikini Bottom, all different types of movies. But there was a problem with this Blockbuster. This Blockbuster didn't organize the genres of movies. I remember walking down the aisle, and whereas one little section of this Blockbuster was like comedy and drama, the next thing you know was Human Centipede and Pinhead. It was completely disorganized. Seeing these images of Pinhead and Human Centipede and Saw, these gory images next to like these children movies, scared the crap out of me. And then what happened was my mom complained to this store and they did like a whole full reorganization of this store. So I don't know if that was the employees or the management, something going on with this Blockbuster, but obviously there was some disorganization happening. But I think that speaks a lot to the business model of Blockbuster. You had to rent your movies and then you would keep them for like a week or two, a weekend, and then you had to return them back. And if they didn't have the popular movie, you were out of luck. You had to wait until that movie came back in stock, the people who rented it returning it, and then you could get it. Really tough business model by Blockbuster. I mean, imagine the amount of movies you had to own for each store. If you were a franchise owner of Blockbuster, the amount of movies you would have to own. If a new hot movie came out, the amount of movies you'd have to order. You know, if you had 20 movies, you can give it to 20 people. That's the limit of what you could sell and what you can make. I really remember the dawn of Netflix back in elementary school, people starting to talk about Netflix. I didn't exactly know what it was, but I would soon learn that Netflix would mail these movies to you, and then you could watch them at your own leisure, and then you could mail them back. And then eventually Netflix went to streaming, and that is what killed it. If you're from Hicksville, Long Island, Delco Plaza, comment if you remember the Blockbuster, because this was definitely a fan favorite. And I gotta say, probably the most populated store, more so than the King Kullen, in this plaza. This Blockbuster was absolutely sick. And I know there's only like one Blockbuster location that's remaining in America. I would love to visit it one day, and maybe I will. But for now, we'll just reminisce on this store behind me, which is now the 99-cent store. Blockbuster in Hicksville, Long Island. What happened? And how can we forget the Chuck E. Cheese next to the Blockbuster? This Chuck E. Cheese has been here for a minute. If I can, I'll pull up some old pictures of what this place used to look like. I have so many pictures of me and my mom. You would go into like that little photo booth, and who remembers in that photo booth, they would like print it out in like black ink and you would see them do it, or not see them do it, the machine would do it. It was so cool and such an interesting concept. I'm gonna try my best to pull up a picture if I can of what those pictures used to look like. That was such a fun attraction, seeing that happen. And they also had the jungle gym, of course. You would go right in the middle of this store, and they would have all these different slides and things you could jump into and go around. So cool. But nowadays, this Chuck E. Cheese is much more modernized. Take a look at the logo of this Chuck E. Cheese. Guys, I don't know how we feel about the rebrand of Chuck E. Cheese, but This is not how Charles always used to look. Charles Entertainment Cheese has went through a lot of rebrands over the years. This is the most recent one. He's definitely gotten a more modern HD, almost like a computer graphic look to him. But I really miss that old school charm of Chuck E. Cheese. Who remembers the animatronics in Chuck E. Cheese? This is really one of the only locations that still kind of has that. They kind of hide them behind curtains, but they still do some shows occasionally. A lot of Chuck E. Cheese has got rid of the animatronics, but in my opinion, they should bring that back. Five Nights at Freddy's is one of the most popular horror franchises, and if Chuck E. Cheese is dying a little bit, I think they should transform Chuck E. Cheese into a horror location. How cool would it be to go in Chuck E. Cheese and it was like horror themed and you had horror animatronics? They could really do a whole bunch of things with this store. I've always loved Chuck E. Cheese, kind of the prerequisite to Dave & Buster's if you're looking for arcade fun, some good food. Maybe not good food, depending on who you ask, or cheap quality value food maybe. But I know there's some rumors about Chuck E. Cheese, how they would recycle pizzas and all the pizzas would look different and they would piece together like unused slices to make a pie of pizza. I don't know about that. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but if you work at Chuck E. Cheese, please let me know. This Chuck E. Cheese behind me has went through some rebranding over the years, but it's still here. Who remembers Alex's Barbershop? Still running strong. This place has been here as long as I can remember. I'd get haircuts here as a kid. For the longest time as a kid, I had long ass hair. And I remember the first time I ever cut it off and had like kind of like a shaved look, I went to Alex's Barbershop and they were like, my God, you got a lot of hair. Kind of nerve-wracking, honestly, but this was the place I'd go. You're going to see a lot of different stores here in this Delco Plaza. This is probably the less populated, part of the Delco Plaza, but still stores to know. Very cool stores to see. You can see there's a hair studio here that's set to come in. And you're going to see some new businesses that are coming in here as well. This Quran Palace right here, Indian cuisine. This has been here for a little bit right now. This is definitely a jumping spot. And here's something new right here. Here USA. This is pretty interesting. So I guess for like hearing aids and, just type of like ear fatigue, tinnitus, guys, this is real. I'm a musician, so I may need to come here in a little bit. But what you're going to see if you pan this way is Northwell Health is buying up so much stuff on Long Island, from the arenas to just venues and stores, hospitals. Northwell is like almost becoming like this monopoly for healthcare. So this here USA is kind of accurate in terms of like things you would expect here, kind of like a healthcare aid type of place. I don't know if that's related to Northwell Health, but I think it's definitely a synergizing thing. There's a lot of stuff going on Long Island and regarding Northwell Health and just that whole organization and how that's all going. Comment on that, because that's a totally other subject for another video. If you want to give, pans over here. Shout outs to the liquor store. And then we have a new store here. I don't know actually if this is open. This may be closing, this Magic Cycling here. I don't remember this at all, if I'm being completely honest, but that's either set. Let's take a quick peek. Work must start, expiration. So it's past the expiration. It says the work must start by February 6th. This is planned to redevelop into something new. I'm not sure what's happening here, guys, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Let's get back to where we were at. Here's some quirky new businesses that are coming in here. Celebrations in the kitchen. I think this is a really cute concept. You can have a birthday party and you can they help you cook things. I think it's a very cute concept. Aside from Chuck E. Cheese, there's not many things in this plaza for your children, so I think that's really cool. And then as we walk down here, you're gonna see a couple of other notable businesses. The Joy Nail Spa, that's been here for a bit. This Kunal Jewelers is pretty new, actually. And then, as I was talking about before, guys, another sign of maybe the Northwell influence here on Long Island, this professional physical therapy. This used to be a karate studio. Who remembers the karate studio here in Delco Plaza? That was here for a hot minute. But now, as you can see, professional physical therapy. So again, I don't know if this is related to Northwell Health, but I really feel like it is. Let's take a look at the sign over here. Of course, we have the UPS and the Northwell Health on the other side. I feel like those aren't going anywhere. But if you want to look behind me, you can see the Shake-a-Paw. If you want to zoom in on that, the Shake-a-Paw is still on the sign, guys, as well as the Big Lots. That's pretty interesting. So, you know, the sign maybe is not top priority if you're a landlord here, but what that tells me is they really have no progression on having a new tenant here. That Shake-a-Paw, the Big Lots, vacant, and it may be vacant for a little bit. I don't even know how much longer. You saw with that other plaza that I showed you, it's so much more lavish now. And this plaza is starting to show its wear and tear. I mean, take a look at the roofs up here. Compared to that other plaza, this is definitely starting to show its age. And like I said in the beginning, this Delco Plaza started to formate around the 1980s. So, you know, 80s, you got the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and we're in the big 2025. And this has probably stayed the exact same as far as architecture goes. What's going to happen with this place? We have such an influence from these Indian businesses coming in, making such lavish palaces. Is that going to change how this Delco Plaza is developed? Is it going to stay like this and slowly decay? Are they going to change and do renovations? I don't know exactly, but comment what you think is going to happen to the Delco Plaza, because I'm very interested to know, and I'm very interested to see what is going to stay and what's going to go. Before we get in this video, I want to show you one more notable business. We're going to walk down here, and we're going to wrap it up. I would like to give one last shout out to Pep Boys and AutoZone. This place, kind of directed and connected to the Delco Plaza, has been here for probably 30 plus years. I've gotten things fixed here for my car. Anything you need, this has been the spot. And it's kind of right around the corner of this Delco Plaza. I just wanted to give this a shout out because this place has stood strong for so long. Probably a main hub for all types of auto body work. If you pan this way, you can see all of the type of stuff they have for servicing your vehicle. Pep Boys AutoZone is no joke. And since we're in Hicksville right now, I just wanted to give them a big shout out. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Grossman World. If you're from Long Island, please let me know where I should go next. This has been a wonderful experience just touring around this place. I have so many memories with Delco Plaza, Broadway Mall as well, but this place is really just a, you know, pit stop, one-stop shop for anything you need. Taco Bell, I'm here all the time. Chuck E. Cheese, I was here all the time. The King Kullen, I was here all the time. Blockbuster. But now things are changing, and it's just really a sight to see how the world is changing around us. We're seeing influence from other cultures and other businesses, and I'm curious what's going to happen with this whole place. So if you have any guesses, any comments, you want to comment below, I would love to see them, and I'd love to start a discussion with you guys. But aside from that, thanks for watching this episode of Grossman World. See you guys next time.